I tightened the belt of my emerald green dress and checked myself in the mirror again. "You look beautiful, honey," Mom said, poking her head into my childhood bedroom. "Daniel won't know what hit him." I smiled faintly. "You think so?" "He'd be a fool not to." She winked and disappeared down the hallway. Downstairs, the table was already full. Turkey, stuffing, cranberry sauce. Dad was carving something. Chloe was already seated, her lipstick too red for a casual family dinner. Daniel stood behind her, talking to Dad like they were best friends. "Hey," I said, slipping in beside him. He glanced at me. "Hey, you look nice." "Nice. Not stunning, not gorgeous, just nice." Chloe laughed at something Dad said. I took the seat across from her. Daniel sat next to her, not me. Mom clinked her glass. "We are so glad to have both our daughters under one roof, and Daniel too, of course." Everyone chuckled. "I was starting to think we'd never meet the man behind the mystery," Dad added. Daniel grinned. "I'm happy to finally be here." Chloe reached for the mashed potatoes. "Pass those, please." Daniel did. His hand brushed hers and they smiled at each other. I blinked. "So," Mom said, "any exciting news we should expect tonight?" I felt my stomach flip. Daniel coughed. "Actually," my heart slammed against my ribs. "I do have something to share." I sat straighter. He pushed back from the table. "No way," Mom whispered, gripping Dad's arm. Daniel reached into his pocket. I gasped. He turned to Chloe. "Chloe, you are everything I ever wanted in a wife. Beautiful, kind, strong." My ears rang. "What?" I said, breathless. "I know this is sudden," Daniel continued, ignoring me. "But I can't wait anymore." He dropped to one knee. My chest tightened. "Will you marry me?" Silence. Chloe covered her mouth. "Oh my God." Daniel looked up at her with wide eyes, fake humility smeared across his face. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, of course." Applause. My mother wiped her eyes. Dad clapped once, awkwardly. I couldn't move. "Wait," I choked. "You're joking, right?" Chloe looked at me. Her face fell for a second. Then she looked away. Daniel stood and kissed her. What the hell is this?" My voice shook. "We've been together for 3 years." Daniel's eyes finally met mine. "You and I, we were never official." "Not official?" I stood. My legs trembled. "We lived together. It wasn't working," he said flatly. "You always talked about work. You never made time for us." "So you replaced me with my sister?" "No one replaced anyone," Chloe said quickly. "I didn't mean for this to happen, but it did," I said. "And you said yes. I didn't know he'd propose like this." Yet here we are. Dad finally stood. "Let's all calm down." I laughed. Bitter, sharp. "Sure, let's calm down. Your boyfriend just proposed to your younger daughter while the woman he lived with sat at the same table." Mom stepped forward. "Sweetheart, let's not make a scene." "I'm not making a scene," I snapped. "They already did." Daniel put a hand on Chloe's back. "We didn't mean to hurt you. You just didn't care if you did." "No." One spoke. The fireplace crackled. I turned and walked out, the cold slapping my skin like punishment. I didn't wait for dessert. The cold hit me hard as I pushed the door open. My heels sank into the frozen wood of the porch. I sat down anyway. The snow hadn't started falling, but I could feel it in the air, sharp, bitter. My hands shook in my lap. I didn't know if it was from the cold or everything else. Voices and Clinks of glasses echoed from inside. Laughter. More congratulations. I guess betrayal comes with a toast now. I let out a shaky breath, watching it float in front of me. Boring wife, I whispered. He'd said it once. At dinner. I thought. He was teasing. You'd make a great girlfriend, he added. But wife, you're too intense. I had laughed. God, I had laughed. The door creaked open behind me. Hey. I didn't turn around. Chloe's boots clicked softly as she stepped closer. She was still holding the champagne glass. I didn't know he'd do it like this, she said. Like what? On Christmas? In front of everyone? I mean, I thought he'd wait. You accepted fast enough. She shifted her weight. What was I supposed to do? Say no? Yeah. Maybe. She sat beside me, but not too close. It's complicated. No, it's not, I said. You could have said, not here, not now. But you smiled like you'd been waiting your whole life for it. I didn't plan this. But you didn't stop it. Silence. I looked at her glass. Celebrating already? Mom gave it to me. Of course she did. Chloe exhaled. I'm not trying to hurt you. You're just succeeding anyway. I didn't know you were still that serious about him. I stared at her. We lived together. I thought you were on a break. Did Daniel say that? She hesitated. He said things weren't working. He say why? Chloe didn't answer. I laughed, bitter. He said I made everything about work, that I didn't talk about kids or weddings enough. He told me that too. Of course he did. She wrapped her arms around herself. He said you shut him out emotionally. He said I was boring. Her mouth opened, then closed. I stood up. You two deserve each other. That's not fair. No. What's not fair is being blindsided at dinner while my boyfriend proposes to my sister. He's not your boyfriend anymore. I turned slowly. Did he ever even break up with me? Or did you two just move on and forget to tell me? Chloe's eyes dropped. I'm sorry. No, you're not. She blinked. I am. Then why are you still wearing the ring? She didn't speak. I stepped down from the porch, my heel crunching ice. Tell Mom thanks for dinner. Wait. I paused. Don't shut me out. I didn't look back. You already did that first. I stared at the ceiling fan. It still had the same rattle from when I was a teenager. My dress was still on. Half zipped. My makeup smudged. My chest felt tight. A soft knock on the door. Sweetheart? Mom's voice was cautious. Can I come in? I didn't answer. She opened it anyway. She stepped in, holding a cup of tea like that would fix anything. I know tonight was unexpected. Unexpected? My voice cracked. He proposed to Chloe. She placed the cup on the desk. You could try to be happy for her. I sat up slowly. You want me to be happy that my boyfriend cheated on me and proposed to my sister? In front of me? He didn't cheat, she said quickly. Not technically. Oh, well, that makes it fine then, she sighed. You've always been dramatic. Right. Because Chloe's the perfect one. No one said that. They didn't have to. She paused near the door. She didn't steal him. Maybe she was just what he needed. I clenched my fists. Because I wasn't enough. I didn't say that. You didn't have to say it either. She hesitated, then turned the knob. Good night. The door clicked shut. I curled up around the pillow, the same one I cried, into when I didn't make the cheer team. When Dad forgot my birthday. When Daniel told me I was too ambitious. You act like you're in a race, he once said. I had laughed. A race to what? success, power. It's not feminine. Another time he said, "You don't let me take care of you." And once, when I made a joke in front of his friends. You don't always have to be clever. I thought he was teasing. I wanted to believe it. I sat up, grabbed the old laptop from the shelf, and opened it. The screen flickered. The battery whined. I waited. The desktop loaded. There, it was Flour and Fire, my bakery plan from 2 years ago. Logo draft, menu list, sample budget. Too risky, Daniel had said. You're not the bakery type. I clicked through the files. My heart thudded. Don't let it carve you, Grandma June once told me. I'd been 13. A boy had called me bossy. I cried in her kitchen. She wiped my face with her apron and said, "Let life cut you, but don't let it carve you into something you're not." That night, I had baked my first loaf of bread with her. The screen lit up with a business plan half done. Dreams half buried. Maybe I wasn't wife material, but I was something else. Whispered. I was never the problem. And this time I believed it. Midnight shifts pay extra, Lucas said, handing me an apron. I don't mind, I replied. I like the quiet. You sure about this? His voice was low, but not skeptical. More cautious. I'm sure. He nodded once. All right then. Let's see what you can do. The dough was colder than I expected. My fingers were stiff, awkward, slow. Lucas watched for a minute. You're beating it like it insulted your mother. It did worse. He raised an eyebrow. Should I ask? No. Okay. Silence settled around us like sugar dust. I used to bake with my grandma, I said, not even realizing the words were coming out. She told me never to trust someone who didn't let the dough rest. That's smart. She also said cinnamon fixes everything. He chuckled. That explains the 3 extra pinches you threw in earlier. It's been a long week. He handed me a towel. Every week is long. Some just hit different. Wiped flour off my face. I moved out yesterday. Lucas didn't flinch. Breakup? Something like that. He waited, not pressing, just giving me space to walk into if I wanted. My boyfriend proposed to my sister. He blinked. Harsh. At Christmas dinner, in front of the whole family. Double harsh. I folded the dough again. I didn't cry. Not there anyway. You don't have to tell me all this. I want to. Then I'm listening. I kept folding. He told me I was too ambitious, that I wasn't wife material. Lucas leaned on the counter. Sounds like a small man afraid of a big woman. He told me I was intense, not soft enough. You don't need to be soft to... All right, I stopped. That a baking pun? He shrugged. Maybe. I laughed, just a little. We baked in silence for a while. Your hands are better, he said eventually. Less angry now. Good. Anger makes flat bread. I looked at him. What made you start baking? He was quiet. My wife left. Oh. Took my kid. Said I was too quiet, too boring. I didn't know what to say. So I started baking. Needed something to do with the silence. Does it help? Some days. I looked at the dough. I don't want to be angry forever. You won't be. I want to build something that doesn't leave when I speak my mind. He nodded. That's a good start. I shaped the rolls. You think cinnamon fixes everything? Nope. Then why let me ruin your recipe? Because sometimes the recipe isn't the point. We kept working. Batches went in, batches came out. The kitchen smelled like brown sugar and butter. Lucas passed me a roll. This one's yours. I bit into it. Still warm. Sweet. Soft in the middle. It's Good, I said. Of course it is. I looked at him. Thanks for letting me be here. You didn't need permission. Just space. That night, walking home, the snow didn't sting as much. My hands were raw. My back ached. But I felt something under the pain. Something warm. Maybe the fire hadn't gone out. Maybe it had just gone quiet. Are you really going? Lucas asked, tying his apron. I have to. No, you don't. I sighed. Mom said, family first. He wiped his hands on a towel. That line always comes from the people who forgot how to be family. I gave a half smile. I'm not going for them. Then who? For me. The church smelled like old flowers and stale perfume. Chloe picked white roses. Of course she did. You look nice, Mom whispered, adjusting my necklace. No, she blinked. You could try to be more supportive. I'm here. That doesn't mean much if you wear that face. This is the only one I have. She tisked and walked away. The ceremony started. Daniel stood at the front, tie too tight, eyes too calm. Chloe walked down the aisle like it was a runway. People gasped. She smiled like she rehearsed it. I didn't flinch. Do you, Daniel? Take Chloe. I tuned out. Stared at the stained glass. Thought about cinnamon rolls and early mornings. Husband and wife. Applause. I clapped once. Soft. Just enough. The reception was at a vineyard. Fancy. Too much. Exactly their style. I stayed near the back, nursing sparkling water. No one noticed. Then I heard his voice. You're quiet. I turned. Daniel. So are you. He looked me up and down. Didn't expect to see you here. I'm full of surprises. He shifted. Still single? I smiled. Still building. He laughed, but it sounded forced. Building what? My life. He nodded slowly. You look good. No. Chloe appeared beside him. Hey. Congrats, I said. She looked at me like she didn't know what to say. Thanks. Long pause. How's the bakery? She asked. Busy. Daniel narrowed his eyes. You still doing that? Yes. Huh. Chloe nudged him. Let's not. I'm just surprised, he said. You gave up on that so many times before. I tilted my head. People change. Do they? I did. He looked away. Chloe fiddled with her ring. Well, she said, we should get back to the guests. You should, I said. They're waiting. She hesitated. I'm glad you came. I bet you are. They left. I stood there, grounded, calm, like stone. Lucas texted, "How's the circus?" I replied, "The clowns are married now." Later, Mom pulled me aside. "You couldn't smile more?" I did enough. "You embarrassed her." "No. She did that when she said yes. She's your sister." I stared at her. "And I was your daughter." She didn't answer. I walked out to the vineyard, alone. The wind pulled at my dress, but I didn't shiver. I'd never felt more still. The bell over the bakery door jingled. I didn't look up. "Welcome to Flour and Fire," I said, hands deep in dough. "I wasn't sure you'd still be here." I froze. I turned slowly. Chloe stood in the doorway, sunglasses too big for her face, holding her purse like a shield. "Big day," she said. "Every day's big when you're building something." She took a step in. "It smells amazing. Fresh croissants. Want one?" "I didn't come for food. I didn't ask why you came." She looked around. "You really did it?" "Yeah." "With him?" "Lucas." I nodded. "We make a good team. She looked toward the back. Is he here? No. Why are you? She sighed. I didn't know where else to go. There's always home. Not anymore. I went back to folding dough. Daniel's not who I thought, she said quietly. I said nothing. He's gone most nights. Comes back smelling like other people. Always angry. Cold. I dusted flour over the counter. I ask questions, she said. He says I'm nagging. I stay quiet. He says I'm distant. I shape the pastry. I thought I could fix it. I place the croissant on the tray. You can't fix someone who doesn't think they're broken. She blinked. He talks about you. I looked up. He says you were stubborn, too focused, too proud. He's not wrong. He also says he misses the way you used to laugh. I slid the tray into the oven. He keeps comparing, she whispered. I can't win against someone who doesn't even want him. I closed the oven door. She stepped closer. Do you hate me? No. Really? I don't think about you enough to hate you. Her face fell. I didn't mean for it to happen the way it did. But it did. I didn't know he'd become like this. He didn't change, Chloe. You just stopped pretending it was charming. Tears welled in her eyes. I thought you'd at least understand. I do. Then why are you so cold? Because you're here for comfort, I said. And I'm fresh out. She swallowed. I thought we were sisters. We were. Once. Silence. I walked over to the counter, picked up a croissant, and placed it in a paper bag. She stared at it. What's that for? Kindness. She hesitated. That's it? That's all. She took it slowly. It smells like cinnamon. I know. She stepped back. I hope you're happy. I am. The bell jingled again as she left. Lucas walked out from the back. That her? Yeah. He nodded. You okay? I didn't break. He smiled. Then I'd say you're more than okay. The call came just before closing. I didn't answer the first time, or the second. The third time I picked up. Hey, Daniel said. I didn't say anything. I've been thinking. Still silent. I was wrong about you. I leaned against the cooler. About which part? All of it. Be specific. You're not too ambitious. Or cold. Or whatever else I said. You said I wasn't wife material? He exhaled. Yeah, that. And now? I think I chose wrong. I paused. So now you want to talk? If you'll let me. I looked out the window. The sky was a soft gray. Meet me outside the bakery, 15 minutes. He was already there when I stepped out. Same coat. Different eyes. You look good, he said. I know. He rubbed the back of his neck. This is weird. It didn't have to be. He looked down. I miss you. You miss the version of me who let you walk all over her. No. I miss the version who challenged me. You hated that version. I didn't understand it then. And now? I get it. You get that ambition isn't arrogance? That strength doesn't mean cold? He nodded slowly. Yeah. I crossed my arms. And Chloe? We don't talk much. That was fast. She wanted easy. I wanted safe. I raised an eyebrow. And I was what? Sharp? Real. I let that sit for a second. You were always real, he added. And I ran from it. I didn't chase you. I know. I didn't fight when you left. I know. I tilted my head. And what do you want now, Daniel? He looked up. eyes red. A second chance. I laughed once. You're not serious. I am. No, you're just tired of being alone. He stepped forward. You're the only person who ever saw me, and you're the one who looked away. He blinked fast. I chose the wrong sister. I met his eyes. No, you chose exactly who you were meant to choose. He looked confused. What do you mean? You picked comfort, simplicity, reflection, not resistance. He wiped his face. And you? I chose myself. He shook his head. You're so different now. No, I'm just not hiding anymore. He stepped back. I messed up. I know. I still love you. I smiled softly. I don't. He broke then. Quiet sobs, shoulders hunched. I watched him. I didn't move. When he finally looked up, I nodded toward the glass door behind me. Lucas stood inside, arms folded, watching. Daniel followed my gaze. Is that him? Yeah, he swallowed. Does he know what you've been through? He never had to ask. Daniel stared at the window. He looks calm. He is. You're happy? I nodded. I'm whole. He took a step back. I guess this is goodbye. It was goodbye a long time ago. I turned. Walked through the door. Lucas didn't ask anything. He just handed me a towel. What's this for? I asked. He nodded toward my cheek. You're smiling. Thought you might want to clean up the evidence. I laughed, and this time it didn't hurt. Up already? Lucas asked, leaning in the doorway with a mug. I dusted flour off my hands. Couldn't sleep. Cinnamon Batch needed more rest time. He sipped. You always say that. Because it's always true. He watched me shape the dough. You ever stop moving? Not when I'm happy. He raised an eyebrow. That's new, I smiled. I know. The oven beeped. I grabbed the mitts. Do you miss him? He asked. Who? Daniel. I slid the tray in. Not even a little. Not even when it's quiet? I like the quiet now. Lucas leaned on the counter. What about your sister? She made her choices. You forgave her? I hesitated. I don't carry it anymore. That's enough. He nodded slowly. You've changed. Or maybe I just stopped pretending I hadn't been cut. He tilted his head. But you didn't. Let it carve you, I blinked. You remember that? You told me your grandma said it. She did, right before teaching me how to braid dough. He pointed at the tray. She'd be proud. I shrugged. So am I. He walked over, grabbed a croissant, and took a bite. Still warm, he said. Fresh always is. We stood in silence. It wasn't awkward. People keep asking if we're together, he said finally. What do you tell them? That we're not rushing. I nodded. Good answer. But that, I show up for you. And you show up for me. That's more than I've ever had. He smiled. Me too. I walked to the window, wiped a little steam away, looked at the empty street. This place used to scare me, I whispered. The quiet, the stillness. And now, it feels earned. He joined me. You ever think about what you'd say to him now? I already said it. What about Chloe? I don't need to. He looked at me. You sure? I turned to him. Lucas, I never wanted revenge. I know. I just wanted the bleeding to stop. He nodded. It has. I thought I needed to prove something. And I proved it to myself. We went back to prepping. Orders would come in soon. The city would wake up. "I'm not in love with you," I said. "I know, but I trust you." "That's more important." I looked at the loaves. "We're building something real, right?" "The only way I know how." I leaned back against the counter. My story didn't end when he chose her. No. That was your beginning. I smiled. He said I wasn't wife material, but I turned out to be something even better, free.